Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Hey Sister. Hey Sister, Sister, you're back.
Huh?
I said you're back.
I am back. I am back. Albeit, I feel like we have so much coming up in the next few weeks that it's never good. We're just gonna be up and down, in and out. But how you doing, sister?
We are going to be up, down, and round in the next few weeks, but that's all right. That's what living is all about, right? That's what they say, living your best life. That's what we're gonna be doing. Hey Jody, how you
Hey,
doing?
Jody.
Our super fan.
That's
We
right.
appreciate you joining us this evening. Ooh, y'all, listen. Okay, so
Now you see, before you be mad at me for not asking how you doing, I ask how you doing, and I ain't heard nothing where you said nothing. How
oh,
was
I didn't. Well, cause there's so much fun to jump into right now. So first things first.
okay?
So you were out one week because of obligations in your role with Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Last week, it was my birthday. Hey, happy birthday to me.
Yeah,
Woo-hoo.
well, I was out for that too. So.
You was out too because you came back from something else.
Mhm.
And so we are back today, and today is Mother's Day. And so we want to start off the show today. Production assistant, can you kind of take down the thing and put up the banner? Yeah. So we're gonna start off with Happy Mother's Day. So for all those out there who are mothers or play the role of mother, want to wish you a very happy Mother's Day. I have several friends who are grieving mothers today.
Yes.
Um, and so for them, as I say, know that love is infinite
Yes, it is.
and it is enduring. And as you ride the waves that come along with grief, just try to lock in on the love, lock in on a memory, lock in on something that will fill your spirit and soul with goodness and gladness. So that's what I want to say. What you want to say to them for Mother's Day?
Well, I'll start with saying Happy Mother's Day to you, sister. I mean, since you are a mother, and
Mucho gracias.
and to our mom who is there with you, as well.
The
And
people love Lois. That's all I want to tell you. You know, the
the
folks
people
love Lois.
always love Lois. Lois as she, and listen, I'm gonna get to it. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. Like you said, there are a lot of folks who are experiencing grief at this time. I just saw a post where one of my friends' mother passed away on Friday. So those kind of things are especially hard. Um, so we send love and light and pray that you will find ways to honor your mother today, but also that God will give you little winks and whispers, as my friend Nashana likes to say, and to let you know that your mom is still here and she's still with you every step of the way. So that's what I'd like to say there. As far as Lois is concerned, Lois is a very unique, she has a very a magnetic personality, very unique. People gravitate to her, they love her very much. And it's something that I admire quite a bit. I mean, I always say, even when we go out for our walks, she speaks to everybody, everybody speaks to her. I speak to people, they just act like I don't even exist. I'm like, cool, it's fine. um but you know the one thing about my mom is that I just wish she knew how much of her power she has.
Ooh.
I just wish she understood her power.
Mm.
She is amazing. She is magnetic. She does people gravitate to her all the time, and just knowing that for herself. That's what I would really love for her.
Mm. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Yes. I see. Love Jody. Love Miss Lois. Yeah, girl. Everybody love Miss Lois. And I think that's a beautiful wish for her at this age and stage in life. And I think it's a beautiful wish for all of us is to kind of um, get that full understanding of who we are and our power and walk in it with confidence.
Mhm.
But that's also a practice, right? It's something that um, doesn't happen instantaneously. And I'll say my mother has been, her and Auntie Trudy have been a hoot, a blast. So my husband was like, okay, so what they gonna clean today? All right, every day I come home, all right, this is gonna be done. Like just know that when you get back, there's gonna be everything's gonna be rearranged around here. Honey, I just let them do their thing, honey. And it's just fine with me. That's how they show their love, and we gonna take all the love. How about that?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes. All right. Well, and we got that little part out of the way. So, in typical Hey Sister fashion, we ask that you like, follow, share, subscribe. Let people know that you're tuning in to Hey Sister. Join the conversation in the comments. And most certainly subscribe to our website. Get you some Hey Sister merch, please. And help us continue to grow this thing. That's what we're trying to do over here at Hey Sister to grow this thing. This evening, we are going to delve into a lot of hot topics that we have not because the past 2 weeks we have not had a live broadcast. And whew, when I tell you, it seems like deja vu. It seems like we are living like somebody hit the rewind and we went back in time, right? So
Mhm.
the first story we want to talk about this evening, and a lot of stories are going to be heavy up front, but we're going to have some lighter conversation at the end. But the first conversation we want to have up front is about a young airman here in the state of Florida named Roger Forson. See, I'm getting all flustered about it already.
Mhm.
Um, who was killed in his home?
Mhm.
Who was killed in his home as police are now saying, "Oops, we made a mistake. We was in the wrong place." So 23-year-old airman on the phone in his house, FaceTiming with a friend. Um, Somebody's at my door. Who's knocking at my door? Has a weapon. He is in the military. And even if he wasn't in the military, they put all this stuff because then this cleans him all the way up. But here in the state of Florida, our governor just signed a permitless carry law, so anybody can carry a gun anywhere, anytime, any place. That's where we are in this state. And
Mhm.
so they knocked on his door, and I guess he answered the door with that weapon in hand, and then was shot 6 times. And I mean, all I could, Breonna Taylor. Um, I can't. Oh,
Tatiana Jefferson,
a
Botham.
Titanic. Both. Yes, name them. Name them. In Dallas, the young man in Dallas. I just. It was just like, did somebody hit a rewind and take us back 4 years ago? Because that's kind of how it felt to me instantly in that moment, as I was hearing the story and it continued to unfold. And so now sheriff is I met with the family, and we're sorry. Sorry. It is just so, to me, that apology is so soul crushing because it's empty, it's vapid. So I don't know. What are your thoughts, sister?
Well, I saw a headline about a wrong address, and it infuriated me because, like I just said, I thought about Breonna Taylor. I thought about a Tatiana Jefferson who was killed at her house playing video games with her nephew, and this man came to her backyard. And I thought about Botham Jean, and we know what happened there, where his brother wanted to hug the lady, but yet, a few months later, she was trying to get off. Um, it infuriates me because I so I'm listening to the warmth of other suns, and Isabel Wilkerson is a fabulous author, and I was listening to this particular story that she's relaying about a gentleman who, for in the Great Migration, one of the reasons you had so many of our black men and women, black men specifically, who were going off to serve in in foreign wars. And we're going to talk about war later, but we're going off serving in foreign wars. And this man came back home and was wearing his uniform and was told he should take it off and he should never wear it again. And if he were to wear it again, they were going to kill him. And they did. He went celebrate with his friends. So he survived a war, but came home to be killed because he dared to wear his uniform. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think about this young man who is serving in the military, who's 23 years old, who has a little sister who he bought an airman outfit for, and they have pictures together. And to think that somebody called, didn't have specifics, kind of just gave a roundabout address, and this man's life is snuffed out, and it has happened so many times, and it enrages me. It just enrages me because I cannot wrap my brain, because we have enough examples, right? We've just listed a few. We have enough examples that if this was a training issue, right? Because they always want to talk about we need to give police more training. If this was a training issue, well, it seems like y'all would have updated y'all training modules by now, because this has happened more than one time and it's inappropriate. But this ain't a training issue. This is a psychological, deeply embedded um, bias, because I see police officers going to arrest actual killers. Like, it ain't a you not it's not an allegation, it's not a you literally know these people have just opened fire and killed multiple people. And they can be apprehended without incident. But somehow, sitting in your home, minding your own damn business, is a death sentence. I don't get it. I don't get it, because it doesn't happen to everybody. And it's
Mm-hmm.
enraging that it keeps happening to us. It keeps happening to tax paying, law abiding, military veterans, college educated. It keeps happening. Going to work, and I just came home from work and I'm tired and I'm trying to get a little bit of sleep. It's not right. It's not fair. And we got to stop. We got to stop letting. I don't want any more hashtags and I don't want any more names. These police officers need to be held accountable and imprisoned for murder.
Mm-hmm. I I can't say anything else but deepest sympathy, condolences to his family, and that this will be an enduring grief that they will have to live with. And I think also what I caution, as you said, you don't want another hashtag, you don't want another, but I just caution us not to lose.
No, I'm saying I don't want another hashtag in the sense that this has to stop.
I got that, but I
Yeah,
don't want to. We can't lose our outrage and our anger, and most importantly, taking action.
yes. That's what
So
I'm
that's the question for those people who are in that county, Okaloosa County. What actions are you going to take?
all right.
What actions are you going to take for justice? So, because I cannot vote against that sheriff. I could vote against some of the governor, but I can't vote against that sheriff in that county. or the state representatives that you have.
But
But
senators and governors, and then also, but we also have to know that we have to be willing to run for these offices ourselves and not allow power to corrupt us in such a way that we lose sight of empathy at the end of the day, like seconds. Like you didn't even walk up to have, you have a vest on as a deputy. I'm sure you have a vest on. He did not. You, even if you saw a gun, his hand went up. So we just this idea of shoot first and ask questions later. I get it. That's the training. Maybe the training needs to change.
mm, maybe a lot needs to change, but that's another question.
A
So
lot does need
a
to
lot needs to change. Another rewind. Did they rewind? So Shenandoah County, Virginia.
change. Girl. Remember we used to play what it was, Shenandoah, what was that song, Air South, we had to play? Shenandoah Valley or something?
Some girl. Listen, these people are going back in time. Like they said, way back into time. So a few years ago, the school board voted to change the names of a couple of the schools. So we dropped the article there in the comments. So y'all make sure y'all go read this article and see what's happening over there and call your cousins over there in the Shenandoah County. Uh, so they changed the name from named after Confederate generals Thomas Stonewall Jackson, Robert E. Lee, and Turner Ashby. And so the high school was changed to Mountain View High School. Now that's probably an appropriate name because it probably overlooks a mountain up there in Northern Virginia. They
And
will revert their name back to Stonewall Jackson High School. And the Honey Run Elementary School will go back to Ashby Lee Elementary School. This school board voted 5-1, 5-1 to return the names to names of Confederate generals. Now, here's the gag to me. They were not U.S. They were not America. So you're not honoring America in any way. You honoring treasonous. You're honoring people who went against this country. So you talk about the love of country and what have you. You're you are literally spitting in the face. But it reminds us that elections have consequences. And who ran for school board and who's on the school board. And I venture to say, and I probably have to do my research to confirm, so don't quote me on this, but I do venture to say, because the Moms of Liberty, they had a strategy,
mm-hmm.
and that was to infiltrate these school boards. And I am just like, why? What purpose does it serve? And
Well,
could you not have found something better to do with your time to vote on something else to serve those children?
but let's take it. Let me read what's the article say.
Read what the article say, girl.
The
I'm
article
gonna
says
set
the
my water
board.
in my business while you read that.
Okay, the article one vote with supporters saying that the Confederate figures' names have been taken off of the schools in 2020 in a knee-jerk reaction and protest of George Floyd's murder by police. But opponents, including some current students, warned the board that the Confederate names would brand the schools in their county as a haven for backward racist thinking. So it was a knee jerk reaction. in their opinion in 2020? Well, first of all, let us just say clearly since 2020, in the last 4 years, everyone has, not everyone, there are a significant number of people who have decided that seeing a man be murdered on film, maybe it impacted them right away, but clearly they're over it now. Because to call that a knee jerk reaction to change the name, that's insulting. That's insulting, right? But on top of being insulting for calling it a knee jerk reaction, I would just, I would love to know the demographics of this school and the student body and the demographics of this board. And here's why.
Well, it does reflect their community because it is like point zero or point whatever percent people of the African diaspora or Asian or from another country that was considered a Latin American country. It's small. Those numbers are small.
Right. And understood. Understood. So those numbers were small. Well, let me say this.
However,
However, I remember listening to and I think it was the Neutral Grounds documentary about the Confederate memorials that were taken down in New Orleans. And
mm-hmm.
we all know that Harmony Circle was previously Lee Circle, and that there was this statue of Robert E. Lee sitting atop this platform that overlooked the city.
Mm-hmm.
When the Daughters of the Confederacy went around building these monuments, it was very intentional why Robert E. Lee overlooked the city. So there's BS about a knee-jerk reaction about changing the names. The name should be changed. Like you said, that's treason. These are treasonous individuals at
Mm-hmm.
best. At
Yep.
worst, some of them were slave owners. Some of them just was flat out murderers. So at the end of the day, and nothing about their legacy should be celebrated. And it just again baffles me because when we talk about other countries, like Germany, for example, you can actually be prosecuted for having monuments of nothingness to Nazis or referencing them or carrying the Nazi flag. But here we say, oh no, all is fair. Do this, do that. So my suggestion to the people there and to everybody across this country, anytime they try to throw up something with a Confederate person's name or whatever, we need to come in and be like, okay, cool. Then I'm gonna need this name for MLK. I'm gonna need this name for Malcolm X. I'm gonna need this name for Shirley Chisholm. I'm gonna need this name for Harriet Tubman. Because at this point, trying to play to people's emotions, it's not a winning strategy. They don't care. And they certainly don't care about us. And dare you call them racist, and they all up in arms about being called racist and not acting like racist. If the tables were turned and so let's use this, if all for all the good Christians and stuff who love the Lord, if we was taking names down and replacing them with taking Jesus and replacing it with the devil, or with Buddha or Muslim or Muhammad, they would be crazy. Just like in Louisiana, they're going to now put "In God We Trust" in every classroom. Well, child, that ain't going to improve the test scores. But if you think, but if somebody was legitimately like, well, I don't believe in the God that you believe in, so maybe I want an Allah we trust. They have a fair argument. Like, people act like their beliefs about something are the only beliefs that you can have. So look, y'all restore the name of them schools. And I need Robert E. Lee's High School on Malcolm X Boulevard.
Boulevard. That's right. Because if it's about culture, then we should celebrate all cultures, right?
We should be talking about
It's
Caesar.
about heritage.
You
Come
know,
on.
come on.
Yes.
If that's what it's really about, but we all know that ain't what it's about.
We know it ain't about that because we ain't stupid.
So I don't know where the mamas and daddies look. For the 0.8% or whatever, get y'all kids up out of those situations. I
But
know.
it's also very interesting. But again, the overwhelming, and this is why these elections have so many freaking consequences. The overwhelming consensus of the people who spoke at this community forum were like, don't do this.
Right.
Don't do this. The children who go to the school and walk in the hall say, don't do this.
Right.
And
Yeah.
for them to be ignored, it's absolutely insane. And then it makes me wonder, well, who's funding you?
And that
Who's funding this mission? Because we know always follow the money.
absolutely.
All right. Who next up, child? What's next on oh our good sis, former district attorney in Baltimore, Marilyn Mosby. And now Marilyn's out here. Um, she was convicted of, I guess, falsifying some financial documents. Not falsifying, about lying about falsifying the financial documents. Um, we got a couple articles on it, so y'all can read them. But she's appeared on the Breakfast Club, and Donald Arnell. We definitely would love for you to chime in on this one because we know that you're an attorney and you are up. Will not happen before the election, but should it happen at all? Because so this is the thing that's got me scratching my head. Because it sounds a lot like falsifying financial records. That's a trial that's happened in New York. Now I know New York has its set of laws, and I know Maryland has its set of laws. But actually, hers is a federal case. Oh, and it again, as they said, it's a victimless crime, I guess, because there was nobody hurt. She's never done any jail time. Uh, yeah, but I don't know. And then she got convicted twice. So I don't know. I do know this. I know that the law and the criminal justice system is not necessarily about innocence or guilt. It's about the case you can prove. And the case that was proved twice in her instance was that she was guilty. Um, yeah, okay, we got a few more comments here. Let's get these comments up here. I don't know the case well enough, but yeah, she seemed to technically have broken the law. Yes, we dropped the article. We dropped a couple articles on it, so you can kind of take a read and look and listen. Um, because the prosecutor is a Biden appointee. So that anyway. The parallel next one, the parallels are interesting. Wasn't it her money or so I read? It was from her retirement account, but it had to have a loophole somewhere because they said it was during COVID, like hardship money. So I guess people must have been allowed to take some money out.
Well, let me
Um,
let me let me read it exactly.
but her money was used to buy a condo down here in Longboat Key, Florida. Some people was like, there ain't no damn hardship. That seems how it sounds like to me. But it seems very similar, like I said, to falsifying some business record by saying I'm using money one way, but actually using it another way. That's what it seemed like to me.
Yeah, I was trying to see exactly what the
But she was indicted and she was tried. And I don't know if she had a full fledged trial or if she just went before a judge. I can't. I got to go back and read that part. but she was convicted, it said, twice.
That's what the CBS article. I'm trying to see the actual verbiage.
Because verbiage matters, honey.
Yeah, so it says juries in two trials ultimately found Mosby 44 guilty of lies related to a vacation home mortgage and COVID related hardship withdrawals from her retirement account. She is scheduled to be sentenced on May 23rd and faces up to 40 years in federal prison. I think, first of all, 40 years in federal prison just feels very egregious, especially when, like you say,
And she
stuff.
probably won't get nowhere near that but that's the maximum that the law allows.
Right. But yeah, prayerfully she doesn't. It sounds like from everything that I've read, the sense is, or the feeling is that this is malicious, that it was her money. I don't know the details of what
But
can.
read what you just said. They allowed people to take money out during COVID for hardship.
No, I didn't
But
read that, sister. I didn't say that
go
at
back
all.
and read what you read what you said.
Juries in two trials ultimately found Mosby 44 guilty of lies related to a vacation home mortgage and COVID related hardship withdrawals from her retirement account.
COVID related hardship with drugs. So they
Yeah, the
allow
lies.
people.
I didn't say whether or not it was allowed. I don't know what was allowed.
Well, they allowed people to take COVID money out for hardship during COVID time out of their retirement account. But then she used that money to go get a mortgage, and that's where the lie came in because they saying you ain't had no hardship if you buying a vacation home
How
down
could
in Lombok
how
Key.
could that not be a hardship? We was all stuck inside and she was ready to go outside. So she said, listen, I'm gonna isolate myself from the other people. Let me buy another house so I can at least get outside and get some
That's
sun.
what she said, girl. Okay,
No,
uh-huh.
like I honestly, I'm like Donald. I don't know enough about the case. What I do know is I see that Sister Angela Rye, the NAACP, and some others are really working hard on
On
attorney
her behalf.
behalf. And at the end of the day, like I said, 40 years feels egregious. It is a retirement account for. It is her retirement account. She feels like this is retaliatory because of her harsh stands when it came to Freddie Gray's death. Again, another black man who was killed in police custody in a most egregious way. Um, that happened about a decade ago. So, uh, but some people do have long memories. So I think. I guess my bottom line here is, and even in our conversations previously about Fonnie Willis, is
What you
that
talking about with this?
right, is that if you believe that there's a target on your back because of decisions you made, choices you made, even even though legitimately you did the right things, we have to know you got to walk a straight and narrow path. You just have to, because some people's memories are long. And so for some people, 10 years later, they will try to attack you if something comes up. Um, one of the things that we often say about our former forever POTUS Barack Obama is that, yeah, he I feel like he understood that early on. And
Mm-hmm.
that's like they can't find dirt on me going in it, and they ain't gonna get no dirt on me going out of it. And the worst that they can come up with is that my daughter changed her name. She's using her middle name instead because she wants to build her own legacy.
Their worst was I wore a tan suit.
Yes, and then Michelle had her arms up. So I think that's the thing. It is, at the end of the day, you just have to be up on the up and up at all times, especially if you know that people are always going to look at you. So I think
And we have some comments to that effect.
yeah,
So it says, when you have a spotlight on you, even at your house, that is not the time to go skinny dipping, even in your own pool where your neighbors can see. For
absolutely.
sure. This was a public service. is not to be entered into lightly. I don't think she will get 40 years. I don't think she'll get 40 years either. But who knows? As she goes on this pardon me tour, because hearing her talk, she sounded kind of Trumpish as she was talking. It's not fair, and I did nothing wrong, and they are out to get me. It's like, girl, you sounded Trumpish like that. You come on now, because if he did wrong, because again, that's the whole point with the cases with him. It's supposed to be equal.
Mm-hmm.
Supposed to be equal. Let's see. She smudged the truth on her financial on the financial documents,
I got it.
and yeah, or may have been less than truthful. You can't do that when you got a helicopter spotlight on you and the street is hot. And baby, the block was hot even when she got in the role because she was so young.
Right.
So yes, I too hated for her totally, and she was playing the Trump victim card with a big difference. Turned that hand over. Yeah, that's kind of how I see. I don't know. I Again, if we want equal justice under the law, we want equal justice under the law.
Well, I pray for that, sister. I don't want this kind of thing to tarnish, because here's the thing. I mean, we want equal justice under the law, but we also know that these kind of things can ruin us for a lifetime. Others,
Absolutely, and
others,
I don't want her to be ruined for a
right.
lifetime.
And
I
that's
don't
that's
want.
because
I
others,
want her to be able to practice law again. I want her to be able to have a career. I want all of that for her. Yes.
yeah, I'm just saying others do it, and not saying that it makes it right or wrong. Others do it, and then they can bounce back with.
We got another comment there from Lakeisha. Says she shouldn't get any. I signed a pardon and hopefully I will make an impact. And I disagree with comparing her to the orange. That's fair. I didn't compare her to the orange, but what she said, she sounded kind. If you turn it off and just listen to it, you're like, this sounds eerily familiar. Every day coming out the courthouse. This is wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. What?
Well, I have to
Ah,
say that apparently, this is as a complete aside. Apparently, now we got these real men wear diapers. Let me tell you something. We can't ever compare ourselves to that one.
listen, baby, when Plies was like, oh, I know why y'all like Trump, because y'all like to be spanked too. That's what it is. Y'all like the silky pajamas to be spanked a little bit.
So
Listen,
this whole diaper situation,
we don't even have that on the agenda to talk about tonight. But let me tell you, can we just take a little 2 minute diatribe? Listen, yeah, listen. Stephanie is her real name, I believe, right? Stephanie, that's her
let
real
me
name.
see. I must
I'll
find.
look up that because I ain't calling her Stormy no more because I don't even like that. I think it's Stephanie.
Stephanie Gregory Clifford.
Let me tell y'all something about Stephanie. Stephanie was like, if I'm gonna tell it, then I gotta tell it all. And then they want to try to say, oh no, well, you shouldn't be talking about that anyway. What you mean I shouldn't be talking about it? Because the judge was like, what you mean they shouldn't be talking about it? Because you and your client said he didn't even have sex with that woman. So she came into explicit detail, letting y'all know exactly what happened.
Mhm.
That clearly she did. And then you got these senators walking their asses up in there, sitting in there as support for him. Don't you want work to be doing, Senator?
Which senator was doing that?
Couple, one of them from Florida, Rick Scott had his self up in there. It's just a hot, stinking mess.
Right.
Girl, we ain't even talk about the woman shooting the dog.
Oh, we didn't talk about her
We don't
either.
even have her on the agenda tonight. Look, I gotta pull my hair. Christy known, we could have really done without the detail. I don't know if we could have done without the detail because if she didn't tell the details, they would have said she was lying. But that sister said, "I'm gonna tell you everything." And then the audacity, because see what people forget is,
Well, didn't they say he passed him gas in court too? So I
oh my. But what people forget was that she was 27 years old when this occurred. And so they want to talk about her and her profession and try to demean and belittle her for her profession. And so they, once again, they're trying to demonize or make her less than, but forgot that, he sure was married to another naked model
who they loved and made
who
her
they love
just thought she was the best first
and
lady.
made her their queen.
Right.
So what we're not gonna do is demonize a woman who, as her business and her profession, she made adult films. That does not mean she should have been abused. That should not mean that she should have been taken advantage of. And while this case is not about abuse or being taken advantage of, it certainly shows that we've seen a pattern of behavior from that person.
Mm-hmm.
A, this case is about whether or not you you put something on the books as a business expense that wasn't a business expense, trying to influence the election.
Right.
And you did that. We'll see what the jury says. Because I'm not in the courtroom every day, so I don't know. I don't know. So
Well, again,
anyway.
I think that when she was on The View, she was Stephanie was very adamant that she was looking forward to her day in court. And so she went. She swore to tell the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help her God. And so thus the truth has set her free, I guess.
And
And
I
to
wish they would have called Karen McDougal, the other woman who was the Playboy bunny, who also said she had an affair with him, and her story was suppressed. Now, David Pecker, who was the editor of the um,
National Enquirer.
National Enquirer, said how he caught that, the catch and kill of that story. But I wish they would have brought her up as well,
Mm.
and these other women who have testified about how he checks every transaction, how he wants to know everything. So for him to suggest that he didn't know and Michael Cohen did this all upon his own volition and what have you, and we know you don't pay people for nothing. So we know good and doggone well what happened and allegedly, as we have to say, because we don't know. But again, it is not about innocent or guilt. It's about the case you can prove. That's what this legal system is about. So we'll see if the prosecutors prove their case or the defense prove their case. So yes. So Lakeisha says, I'm looking forward to Cohen's testimony tomorrow, although they seem to have thrown him away. And they are trying to give an appeal argument. The money in this case was on about Miss Dan. Yes, the money was definitely about her. Most definitely. They're walking a fine line because 45 wants them to send him to jail. Yeah, he trying to get sent to jail. And the judge, I think, has had really good restraint. Um, So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Because the judge down here in Florida be like, oh, I can't never get to this case because I'm not even gonna I don't even have good judicial management. She wasn't up for the job and they got her on this job right now. So the documents case is probably it's postponed indefinitely. It's like, bitch, can you do your job? Don't
Well,
get me started.
let's
That's
face
why elections have consequences, my friends.
well, let's face it. Like Donald said, he's doing the martyr bait, and that's the thing. At the end of the day, he's doing the martyr bait, and a lot of these judges are punking out. Like they're scared because, let's face it. Again, we heard from Fonnie Willis about the death threats and the things that they've had to deal with. We know in New York there was a judge who had nothing to do with these things, but her son was killed by somebody crazy because of a former case. So someone who had been in her courtroom. So that's the thing. He wants to be made a martyr because he knows, again, the fools will come out. They will rally. And
Hmm.
she like some of these other judges are probably trying to avoid putting their life at risk behind this fool. And I
Yeah.
don't, Mom, I just want to know at what point. Again, I'm with the people on the social medias who said it's time for us to increase the requirements because 35 and being born in the United States ain't good enough. It's harder to get a job at Walmart, and that's a problem.
Child, listen, for facts. Yes. All right. Let's see. Let's go. What else? Oh, this is another heavy topic. I think this is the last heavy topic. These are related. We'll talk about this persistence of war. Now, I don't. No, I used to watch Meet the Press all the time. Like I was a Tim Russert fan. I watched Meet the Press religiously. Chuck Todd, I fell off. Kirsten Welker. I really haven't given her as many shows, but like Meet the Press used to be my jam.
Right.
But I just happened to have it on this morning and listening to that senator, yes, from your home state, Jody, of South Carolina. Not the step and fetch it one, but the other one.
You talking
The
about
one
Miss
who
Lindsay?
Miss Lindsay, yes. Did you see Miss Lindsay?
Listen, I didn't watch Meet the Press. I saw Miss Lindsay talking about something the other day, and I can't. I can't with you because you have
Miss
uttered.
Lindsay had the audacity to get up there and talk about how what Biden is not doing to support Israel. Now y'all gonna stop these lies. Today he's like, okay, I can't give y'all no more bombs because we know that our bombs are being used to kill. You know, they killed, I can't remember how many people were killed and the 100 whatever hostages, but in turn 30,000 people were killed. It ain't proportionate in any way, shape, or form. So let's go with that. But Miss Lindsay talking about what the United States was able, and we were able to use the bomb. So during World War II to get rid of our ultimate enemy, they should be able to do whatever they want. And I'm like, say what? What? What?
See, that's why I can't listen to Miss Lindsay. Again, like Donald said, no proportionality. First of all, what are you talking about? Make it make sense. Apples should compare to apples, and oranges should compare to oranges. Let's
Yes, in 2024, that's what he said. He said it. Let me find that clip. Go ahead, keep talking, sister.
and number two, number two, this whole let's call it what it is. Again, let's follow the money. There is a very specific reason that we want to continue to supply weapons of mass destruction to other countries or other people. Let me say other people. It's all about monetary gain. It's all about power dynamics. This is not about the wellness and better offness of folks. People are innocent lives are being killed. And this isn't even about being Jewish or being Muslim. Like we were talking about in Sunday school. Netanyahu has a very specific agenda. And sadly, he is willing to be on the side of evil and hate and war and destruction. And we know we don't need to go down that path. We don't.
Mhm.
Um, and so anybody like Miss Lindsay trying to convince the American people, y'all when the Republicans voting against giving money to Ukraine a few months back. So
Yes,
help me
and
understand how we gonna give money to one war effort, but we don't have money to give to the other war effort. Obviously, we need to talk about what is this really about, and it ain't about. It is not about freedom. It is not
mm-mm,
democracy.
mm-mm.
It's about continuing to have power in place following behind these corrupt individuals and making sure that these money is following the money. Where's the money? Where does the money reside? Stop it. Stop it. So I can't mess with Miss Lindsay. I can't. Mm-mm.
I can't mess with them either. And I'm telling you that it is I'm also going to drop this other article in here, and so I have a New York Times subscription. If y'all don't have a New York Times subscription, y'all try it out for free for a little while so y'all can read this article, because this article I read earlier this morning was so interesting, because it's titled Elon Musk Diplomacy: Woo Right-Wing World Leaders Then Benefit. And it's talking about all the leaders, the authoritarian right wing leaders that he has been wooing and using his platform, Twitter, to amplify what they're doing so that then he can grow his business. Because, of course, Tesla is falling here in the US, and where he over there trying to sell Tesla now is over there in China and what he's trying to do there. Read that article if y'all can. It is absolutely fascinating. And it links into, to me, this stuff, because South Carolina has a large military basis, a lot of military presence. What you read, sister?
I'm looking for the article that you talked about because I got me a New York Times subscription after you done
Oh, I just
shared.
dropped it in the comments for you. I'm gonna give it to you on the private chat so you can get it, girl.
Okay.
Yeah, girl. So you can save it and read it. But it's the same. It's a similar thread. How Elon is doing this to benefit himself. Lindsay is speaking on this to benefit himself, um um benefit our weapons contractors,
Of course.
and but ain't nobody talking about what's going on in Haiti right now. And I watched a thing on Haiti, and I was like, I'm looking at the guns they carry, and they didn't make none of them guns over there in Haiti.
Oh.
So,
Or the Congo or
oh,
many other places.
yes, and yes, Lindsay is consistent. He's always been a war hawk. But it's so very interesting, the people who are always the war hawks. And hey, he actually has served as a reservist, so I am going to give him that credit. But
Okay.
it's always very interesting to me, those
Because most of the
who,
time they haven't.
yeah, they're unwilling to actually go do that. Um, but as we talked about in Sunday school earlier, can we be better? Can we just do better? Because I'm tired of Isaac and Ishmael fighting. I'm
Hmm.
tired of Abraham children having us in a stranglehold for 2,000 years. Because
Right.
that's all this is Abraham children got us in a stranglehold for over 2,000 years and got us out here, all the whole damn globe involved in their BS, because some of them got oil and we want power and money. Like, I'm sick of it. Can we
Right.
do better? So we were going to talk a little bit about the student protest, but that is inextricably linked to what is continuing to happen in the Middle East. But and I'm proud of the students. So let me say this clear: I am proud of the students. I know the students at Xavier University wrote a letter, and the UN ambassador was disinvited from being one of the commencement speakers, and I'm proud of them for using their voice. But I also want our students to negotiate better, because you should have asked for an audience with her to have a private conversation to talk about the things that are important to you and demands that you would ask of her as a UN ambassador to take back to the UN and to take back to the president of the United States and to the administration. I think that would have been a better use of that time. I think it would have been
I
a
hear
better
you,
use of
sister.
that.
I hear you, sister. But I gotta disagree. Only because you and I both know. you know how it is when you get around, when certain folks come and fall into town, how your campuses get on lockdown, how you got snipers everywhere, how they only allow for one or two questions, how and then those questions
Baby,
are,
she from Bashford. They could have figured that they could have figured out ways to make that happen.
I hear you, but just like the young men at Morehouse who didn't want Biden to be their commencement speaker. Yeah, in an ideal world, it would have been much better for them to just sit and have a closed door conversation with him and say, like, these are the questions we have. But is that ever going to really happen? Are we ever going to allow that? If you have adults on these campuses right now, not all of them, because some of them are absolutely in support of the students, and some professors are risking their jobs to
Hmm.
support student protesters. But for more often than not, it feels like we are the students are faced with this when it comes to certain adults being able to step in and be the voices of reason and what have you. They don't. They're just like, oh, we're just so happy to have you here. We just thank you so much for showing up. We're not going to ask any hard questions. We're going to give them only the softball questions. Like, we know that that happens so often. And yes, I know President Biden, as far as I understand, is still speaking. But when with those students, or even if they had selected students, it would have been okay. We're going to select certain students who we probably know aren't problematic to sit down and have certain conversations. And like I said, ask softball questions.
Well,
I
since it came from the SGA president and he stood 10 toes down, he
Yeah,
should have
I'm not
been.
talking about Xavier specifically. I'm
Yeah.
just saying in general. No, I'm
Well,
not
and I'm just saying that there are student organizers and student who are engaged and involved. And I think that as adults I think adults are disserving them by not really teaching them how to negotiate, how to engage in these difficult conversations. Yes, protest, but also how do you come to the negotiation table? And we need to be having some because
right, because
clearly the
a
way
lot of
shit is.
those adults are thinking about themselves. Well, I
Yeah.
yeah, how can I be down? What could I get out of this deal? So yeah, that's why they're not. And so it's unfortunate. Look, I will say this. I do not believe in destroying property. Now granted, at the end of the day, because the blood, sweat, and tears of our ancestors went into building a lot of these things, and they will never pay for it. But I do not believe in destroying property. I do not believe in graffiti and all of those things. But I also know that that's where we have to be our student protesters also have to be very careful, because there are some people who don't mean them good, and they will infiltrate the situation
And
and
have.
it gives them a bad reputation. But for standing up for yourself, especially on a campus where you paying some of these white schools, where I'm sorry, whatever you want to call them, where you paying $50,000 a year or a semester to go to, baby, you gonna listen to me.
Oh,
So
I agree with that, and I think more should be done, and I think that more can be done. But again, in the big scheme of things of what's most important, what's most critical to their lives, what's happening in Palestine and with Israel is not as paramount as them going into a job market that is shaky, understanding the complexities of how AI is going to change the world, what type of business ventures they're going to go under, if they are children of color, will how they will continue to come under attack. Like those are the things, baby. I want y'all to be protesting about that. I want y'all to be protesting about, those things, and how you want to continue to advocate your power and your intellectual property by giving it over to social media platforms and not leveraging your power in a different way. Like those are the kind of things I want them to be fighting about too.
I hear you. I hear you.
But I
All right.
digress. Oh, child, listen. Oh, we done hit the hour. Child, we had a couple of lighter topics, so we don't want to leave y'all with all that heavy stuff. The Met Gala, artistic, the gowns, the fashions, they were seen, they were had. There'd be another Met Gala because I think they do two of them a year,
All right.
and fantastic. Zendaya had a wardrobe change. What else is there to know about the Met Gala? Oh, the
Well,
girl
you
who had
know
a
what?
dress made of sand. I thought the dress made of sand. Listen, if y'all can't walk in it and it takes 20 people to hold up the skirt, I know. I mean, clearly they got diapers on, or they done had an injection to keep their bladder from working. Cause ain't no way you gonna sit up in something for a few hours. Girl, they said Kim had ribs removed because it looks really it looked like a really old fashioned corset. Like it was real tight around there. And child, she
Oh,
may have had
yeah, what Kim Kardashian had on?
yeah,
That was so
yeah.
stupid. I'm sorry. That was
That's
just
what the
dumb.
people say. Um,
Like well, what I was gonna say is, Divine Joy Randolph's Met Gala dress was Zach Posen, and I guess he's doing more haute couture for Gap. I guess it really can't be haute couture if it's for Gap, but
yeah,
anyway,
well, our production assistant, you want to share the looks, production assistant? Feel free to share some of the looks. Go ahead. She's gonna
I was
share some of
gonna
the looks.
say, and also Coleman Domingo he is the man of the hour, and I would like to just say, Billy Porter, you have let Coleman slide in on you, huh, brother?
Yes, he has.
Where you at? You letting Coleman get all the shine? I need me a good Billy Porter something.
Hmm.
And yes, the theme was about some garden flowers, something. But some of them folks, like I mean,
Sleeping Beauty. Go ahead, show some more the fashions, baby.
she's got it up.
Oh, there's Sleeping Beauty's
The
Awakening.
Garden of Time. I was like, okay, I didn't know what Cardi B dress had to do with a garden because it's all the
But it
flowers.
also was about Sleeping Beauty's reawakening fashion.
Girl, it's all the flowers dead if you in all black from top to bottom. What is going on?
The- Okay, listen, I don't remember everything. Okay, can you show us some fashions? You just showing us the article, baby. It's
Okay.
not showing us nothing. Yeah, you got us
Zendaya and vintage Givenchy.
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny. I didn't know what Bad Bunny was. Bad Bunny. Maison Margiela.
I do like this dress by Jennifer Lopez, though.
I mean,
It
I
ain't
like
by
it.
her, but it's cute.
How many times is we gonna be naked up under everything? Well, that's beautiful. I
Well,
like.
you always naked up under everything. You naked up under
You
things
know what
now.
I'm saying. This is what I didn't understand with Cardi. I'm sorry. I didn't. It it wasn't
I
given.
know she can't go pee. That's what I do know.
Okay.
For sure,
Well,
for fact. And that's that other Kardashian girl. Oh, she changed her name to Kardashian, Jenner. They hyphenated their names. It's Anna Wintour.
oh really?
I think they did. They hyphenated their
It say
name.
Jenna
Okay.
there, so. And I saw little Angel was out there, little Angel Reese.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well.
Okay. But we're not gonna look at all 200 of these, that's for sure.
All right.
But the article, drop that article in there so it's already in the comments so y'all can look at all the slideshow and get them all. Yes.
I just thought it was dumb for Kim Kardashian to do that to herself. Because at some point, what are you trying to prove? We get it, girl. You skinny. All right, we get it. You done had surgery. Oh, you had your booty in, you took your booty out, you put a rib in, you take your rib out. Like, what are we doing? It just at this point, it didn't even for me, it wasn't appealing. It just
Yeah.
It
Well,
was.
everybody on the Ozempic. Girl, you gotta go get you some of that Ozempic on my gyro. Shoot, because everybody on it, clearly.
But that wasn't even the point. You were just looking crazy. You know what? Okay, so I'll say this.
For someone who has enlarged organs, I'm just gonna say this: due to a condition that I have no control over because it's genetic. Let me tell you something. I like to breathe. And my lungs still function. I ain't compromising them for nothing. How about
Right. Small at the waist, old in the face.
that?
Yes,
Oh
indeed.
my lord! Oh my god! Okay, last. Okay, this is it. This is it.
Go
We
ahead.
got
Last but not least, go ahead. I'm gonna say what I got to say. We could be out. You say what
listen.
you say. I say what I got to say.
Now I don't really listen. I've only listened to one of the Drake songs in this sequence, but there's an article we gonna drop. This clearly goes back to 2013, as the article outlines that they are back and forth with each other on different people's records and features. But these last 2 weeks with the Kendrick Lamar and Aubrey drama, if y'all ain't heard some of them songs, I say it's wild. It is wild. And the things that they say about one another and one another's families, and oh my gosh, like it's deep, it's deep, it's deep, it's deep. Um, well, production assistant, do you want to come on me? Because you put all this in the private chat. Do you want to come online and say all this? Because she said something about Kim's look was highlighting her waist and butt because that's the thing she tries to hold on to. And the story talks about
Yeah,
uh
it was trying to highlight her waist and butt, but she supposedly
okay.
got her butt shots out and all this other stuff. No one cares. I still hate that the world has been impacted with them people. I just want them to go away. I'm sorry. I'm not in the best of moods tonight, but I'm like, no, girl, get out of here. Looking stupid.
Mm.
I don't care how much money you have, you can still look dumb.
Absolutely, on a consistent basis. But that's neither here nor there. Listen, when y'all, yes, the seminar will be taught on the last 2 weeks of Drake and Kendrick. One of my good friends who was here visiting, who is in the music industry. Shout out to Lynn. She was like, "Oh, they gonna have whole lessons on these songs." And if y'all ain't heard some of the songs, just Google them.
Well, I had
Or
intended,
don't even waste your time. Because
right?
you know what? We got bigger fish to fry.
Yes, I had intended to go through it and do some academic research and understand why we so upset. I just don't understand if y'all all got money like y'all talk about, why we so mad? Because I feel like throw me a few dollars, I'm gonna be real good. It ain't gonna be too much about to be making me mad if I got some money. Okay. I really do take issue. I'm like, listen, ain't hip hop supposed to be 51 this year? We was 50,
Yes.
so we
Because
51
I
this year.
turned, me and hip hop is the same age, and I just turned 51. We
I'm
supposed to be 51 years old.
We 51. That means you too old for this hip hop. You too old. I am tired. Listen, I'm of the age when beefs ended up with people dead from the East Coast and the West Coast. I am
That was
tired.
your era. Hmm.
We're old enough for everybody to have a seat at the table. Now, granted, in this situation, I'm always gonna vote for Kendrick Lamar over Drake because I don't like Drake like that. And I don't like him because I do agree. In a lot of ways, you are a culture vulture. In a lot of ways, you have disrespected black women and talked about as if they are beneath you. I'm mad, like me and my cousin was talking about last night. I'm mad that you out here throwing support behind a sexy red who I really want to go away. because she, for me, it's problematic. It's one thing to be sexy, it's one thing to be talking out the side of your neck with some of your lyrics and whatever, but she is problematic. She is a poor example of what I want young black girls to see. Period.
Mhm.
And for him to be promoting and hyping her up, like hyping his bestie up, no, I don't like it. So I was like,
And wasn't he, and didn't he say what's his name? That boy side against Megan Thee Stallion? Yes.
yes, and that's when I really was like, oh no, because even if I may not rock with everything that Meg got to say, I like Meg Thee Stallion overall, but when you want to cuss and talk about a woman in a song because she defended herself, because she stood up to an abuser, obviously a little short midget who, well, I'm sorry, you can't say that word, a little short dude who was insecure.
A Napoleonic complex brother.
Yes. And then you got the audacity to throw her name in some lyrics, as the people say, you is bitch made. And I don't have time for it. But in the grand scheme of things, life is short. Everybody get y'all money. I would really like all of us to start talking to elevate hip hop just a little bit because I feel like we slid back.
Well, like I said, somebody hit the rewind button and we went back in time. Um, I do think, again, like I said, I'm always end up leaning on the side of Kendrick because I think he is a better lyricist. And I think he is much more thought provoking and much more gifted with the use of the English language. Maybe why he got a Pulitzer Prize. I'm just saying. So I'm probably land on his side most of the time. But it is time, as we said, we want for most artists. It's like, when do you elevate? When do you elevate? And then how are you elevating us all?
Right.
And none of this elevated us all in any way, shape, or form.
Well,
But
because we're talking about this beef, and I'm just sitting up here like I hear y'all. I'm gonna laugh at the memes. I'm gonna laugh at the jokes.
catch Vince Staples' interview where someone asked him about this, and he was like, "You want to know what I really think about it?" He was like, "Why Taylor Swift on the one out here trying to make sure we're not getting robbed by these streaming deals, and y'all up in here going back and forth by this, while these labels are robbing us blind, and we're
Racial
continuing."
intelligence, y'all.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we're struggling as artists even more and more
And
with
I
streaming and what
also
have you.
thought it was, it we just had a whole strike that you're supposed to be talking about AI and people's likeness and not using it because, oh, we're artists and we want to get paid for our creativity. And you turn around and then you putting out songs with other people's voices and stuff like that. Like, make it make sense to me. At the end of the day, he get it from his mama.
Mm. Well, with that, we are signing off, baby, because we get it from our mama too. And it is Mother's Day, and we're going to end this show like we started. Happy Mother's Day to you all. For those of you who have your mamas, hug on them, love on them. If you're grieving your mama, say a little prayer, sit like you're quiet, and wait for the whisper and the wink, as my sister said, because she's still here with you. And just hold on to that love. And with that, peace.
Good night.
Production assistant.